Hello, my name is Billy Galango, and today I'm excited to share with you a clip from one of my favorite interviews of all time. In 2022, my Vent podcast co-host and I went up to Oregon to interview former NBA champion Channing Frye and his Chosen Family Wines co-founder, Jacob Gray. In this conversation, we covered all things to do with wine, but in this clip in particular, we really hone in on finding the wines that you find interesting. Whether it be starting out with First Growth Bordeaux or a diamond in the rough from the New World, there's a way into wine for everybody, and it was really interesting to hear Channing and Jacob's perspective. Additionally, we hear a really great story from Channing about his first visit to Petrus and the experience that he had. It's kind of an experience that I bet we wish we all had. So I hope you all enjoy the conversation as much as I did. Cheers.
So, Channing played in the NBA. Everyone assumes that everyone in the NBA has all this money and they can buy whatever they want whenever they want, right? Channing's smart enough to go, well, I like wine. I'm not going to drink $1,000 glass of wine every night of my
on a
life.
Tuesday.
He doesn't even want to do that most of the time because he knows that sometimes it's overblown. But if you do enough research, he might go, oh shit, that's from that vineyard in that place that I've heard about, and that's a vintage I haven't seen before. Let me try that. Oh, okay, I did that, but then I also went down the street and met the guy that makes it for $50, and I love his day-to-day drinker, right? So I think the journey is in the research and development. It's in the trust factor with brands and opportunities, but I think that's the thing about wine. There's no perfect storm. There's no exact answer, but we're all trying to live our own journey within it. And again, share this thing that is.
And you never know when the $40 bottle is someone's celebratory wine.
It is
Right.
a lot of time.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure. But
When we
the
shouldn't make
more
fun of
you
that.
know,
exactly.
the more you realize, okay, Rothschilds, 83, you're going to get what you expect for the most part because of the consistent quality of that. Somebody finds you a $20 to $40, whether that's in New Zealand, Australia, South America, Chile, you find that bottle, that is how do I get 100
More
of
of
these?
that. Yeah.
More of that. But that's it's the opposite. But you have to know what you're looking for, but you don't know what you're looking for unless you
And
go
willing to
through
get
the
outside your
journey.
box. Yeah.
But okay, so what I try to explain to people is why something is more expensive sometimes is a consistent greatness. And so New World people, and somebody put
that's why
this
LeBron
in,
gets paid a lot. He gets it
you
done
look
year
at,
after
you,
year
you
after
look
year
at
after year.
cards, right? Like trading cards, or you look at, NFTs, like what is consistent greatness? What is the highest paid card ever, right? It's 5.2 million. It's a LeBron card. Why? You have 20 years of greatness. So he has a following. He has people that are willing to pay that price for that quality, regardless of year. It may be a moment in time, but they're still willing to pay that. But for me, if you're willing to enjoy his time, you can start anywhere. If you're like, I like that, but let me follow Jason Tatum early on, which is for me like wine. Like I'm really into new age wines. I'm very much West Coast guy. So for me, Napa Cats, Sonoma Coast, Oregon Pinot, Walla Walla, which would make great stuff. I want to be the guy that goes, I got the 2020 and it's 2050 and I'm 70 years old handing this to my kids. Like, yeah, your daddy knew back in the day. I knew that this guy does this, and they're looking at myself like it's quite like, how did you know? They have quality.
Well, not only are you going to know about it and have some of it in your cellar, but you're actually going to know the winemakers, have been there, maybe even been there when they blended some of it, maybe even had some of it under your own label. Like we're getting that opportunity to kind of build this thing into the future from places that we believe in are the future of wine on the West Coast and in the New World, but also we're going to make some wine in Italy. We're going to maybe get to France one day. We're trying to expand our consumers' opportunity by us growing our brand, but you also got to be smart enough to make those moves when they make sense. But I want to tell them your Petrus story. So I've never been to Petrus. I actually don't know if I've ever even had a sip of Petrus, and I've been lucky to drink some great wines. One of the most expensive wines in the world. They make a bit of it, but it's not easy to find because of how expensive it is. And it's actually Merlot, which is a varietal every once in a while that gets slapped around in the media because of someone that looks like me. But Chan went there, and tell the story because I think I love how you reacted when you were there, what the winemaker said to you, and then what you think of drinking some of the finest wines in the world on site.
So I'm a fast forward a lot of the details. We went to Bordeaux. We did a 2-week tour of France, and I was into wine. I wasn't like hardcore into wine, but Bordeaux changed me. France changed me, as it should. And I just fell in love. Like, how do I get this? So our driver his name is Tiger. He was from America, but he, had dual citizenship. It was like, dude, I love you on the Cavs and blah, blah. So we started talking. And he goes, I've changed your wine tasting for tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, I trust you, right? Because I know Bordeaux, I know a little bit, but I don't know. You live here. Yeah, I don't know everything. So for me, if you feel strongly enough where you're going to change my trip, I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I know nothing about him. We go to one place. I forgot the name of it, but I ordered a bunch of cases. I ended up drinking them too soon, but that's fine. It was COVID. It was tough. It was tough to get out of the house.
You live and learn.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more great wine content. All right, back to Channing.
It absolutely was blown away there. It's original house, chateau, beautiful. And then we pull up to Petrus. And I look around at my wife and friends, and I'm like, Petrus. I'm like, no. I'm like, maybe it's, a subsidiary of it or whatever that is.
Petrus.
Right, exactly. So we pull up, and he's like, this was my gift. You guys have been awesome. Here you go. And the winemaker is going to show you around. So we look. If you've ever been to Petrus, it's literally a little mound of like blue clay soil. And he comes out and he looks like a regular winemaker, nothing fancy. And he just shows us how little the human touch is from the grape to the bottle and how long they keep it down there. And we go through this story and we finally get to the place where you get to drink the wine and it is piping. And I'm a big guy. And so I did
thirsty
the math.
guy.
Thirsty. So I did the math of how much a glass, like just a little teens is like.
And the weather outside was.
No. The wine was not piping hot. The weather outside was piping hot. So I'm sweating. I'm like, a little water. And I go, whoop, and just throw it back. And he comes up and gives me a hug. And I'm like, what happened? He goes, thank you. Somebody who finally drinks it and enjoys it and goes and pours me another. And so I was just like, this is amazing. And he goes, you would be shocked how many people come in here with this pretentious attitude and they drink and they'll spit out and they're like, put 15 cases in my car. And he's just like, that's not why you get into wine. You get into wine for people to enjoy it, regardless of the price.
He's the holy grail, but he's like, drink my wine.
Yeah, drink it.
You can do it however you want, but don't be afraid to have a sip. Or maybe a Channing said a glass. You know what I mean? Like you're allowed to.
Two glasses.
Yeah.
And
you're
it
allowed
was
to enjoy
so
this
delicious.
thing.
Oh, it was so like, you were like,
We
and
got to
then
drink
you
something
realize it's not even going to get put out for another 20 years.
Would you go back if we go over there?
It'll be the first place I go. I just think now I know what I'm drinking and now I understand the process. I think realizing the clay doesn't absorb all the water. And he told me a story how they had to. So in Bordeaux, you're not allowed to like irrigate or do any of that.
Dry farming.
The strictest.
That's what we do here
rules.
too.
Right. They had to hire a team of helicopters to fly over to move the water off the hill. So imagine so they have to like, it's pure of like how their rules are, what it is. If it is that year or it isn't, there's no in between. Either it is or it isn't. And you respect that. And you're like, it's its purest form. And we're trying to do that here, not only in Oregon, but at Chosen. And that's the difference. It's like this is one little plot of land, 20 acres. That is a culmination of the year, right? 4 out of the 20. So our Chosen, which is 30, is a culmination of different vineyards from around a site or an AVA, from different AVAs. So and then that is just, if people realize how small Burgundy was, it would just be like, holy crap.
I don't know about you guys, but this is drinking great, but this is drinking pretty good too.
Yeah.
Seeing our little Pinot Noir, our little Chardonnay, site-specific Chardonnay next to one of maybe the most famous white Bergs in the world, and everyone can get into vintages and how old it is and all these things. Both great wines, but it's fun, even as someone that loves this wine, to see it in this category. And shit, this is $60.
Yeah. And it's only in 2022 and it's already developed some complexity in the
Yeah.
acid. But going back to the Petrus, I was actually lucky enough to go to the on-promoter tastings last week to try to see what the 2021 vintage is going to be like. Turns out it was a weird year. Some frost at the beginning, rain. But I drove by Petrus and it's cool because like you're right. Like, it's this mound of like clay. And when it gets wet, and basically what happens is that the clay expands.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. It doesn't let any more water. And it gets to the point where it's like the soil is literally like not
Sponge
good.
is full.
But and then the people have always said like that clay is like what makes the terroir switch is like the smartest clay ever. Because like it's just enough. On like the dry years, it has just the right amount of water. On the wet years, it's like, nah, we don't need any more water. And then it's amazing how small, you're right, because all these other vineyards are trying to get up on that little
Yeah.
clay. Like,
It is literally a mound, and you're
Yeah.
like, $1 billion,
yeah,
500 million. Then you have like LVMH over there,
right.
and you're just like, what? But everything wants to be this little mound. It looks so like unimposing.
Yeah, and yet
It's
people
just
make
ridiculous.
pilgrimages there.
But that's the one thing about wine that trips you out as you get to know it. Like there can be, if we're sitting on a vineyard right now and your neighbor's down the hill 30 feet and like 30 yards that way, the terroir can be totally different. Now they can have some of the same soil elements, these things, but like Burgundy's big on like, this is Grand Cru versus this is First Cru versus this is Village. Oregon Willamette Valley, there's some sites I know of where this one's absolutely amazing. So it's like Mother Nature. Who bought that plot of land and how they farmed it? Obviously, there's going to be some things that impact that decision making and what the final product is. But sometimes you just get lucky in this game. Sometimes just certain mounds of dirt make way better wines than other places. And if you're lucky enough to tend to those and not F them up and not do too much, you get this magical thing.
Less is so much more
in wine.
in
It's
wine.
absolutely.
It's amazing. But nerding out on this is amazing. So a buddy of mine, I gave him a Chateauneuf du Pape, and he had never had it before. And he was like, what is this? He had the aha moment. And he is the type of person to put his head down and read every book about wine, why he likes it, where it comes from. He's read 15 books. He showed me the case of books about wine over the last 6 months that he's read. And now he specifically drinks in Northern Rhone Valley. Like he will go across the city and find the best one, which year, from what producer. But like that makes me feel great that I got him something. And you know, Northern Rhone ain't crazy. It's very affordable for what it is. And just like having those aha
Well,
moments.
compared to Bordeaux, for
The
sure.
top wines, yeah, you can.
Right, exactly. You just like,
Yeah.
oh,
Well, that's my favorite part about, speaking of the Northern Rhone, like Hermitage. I was just chatting with guys last week in Bordeaux, and they were like, yeah, you can get like the top Hermitage in the world are like $400. I mean, maybe a little bit more, but like it can be, and it's like,
I
that's
had
amazing.
one. You talking about Schaff?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, chef, are you guys?
Dude,
He
chef?
just had one the other day.
Schaff.
Um,
He's
so
like
good.
unbeatable.
It's so
Yeah.
perfect.
That's Syrah at its highest level, basically.
It's so
100%.
good. It is like the best.
All right. That was a clip from our interview with former NBA champion Channing Frye and his Chosen Family Wines co-founder, Jacob Gray. I hope everybody enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more exciting wine content. Cheers.